in the UK, most people then, like if you talk about someone who was on Twitter, who was famous, it was Stephen Fry. So he was the one person that was more famous than anyone else on Twitter. And he's kind of an early adopter of technology as well.
Yeah.
So I saw him, he tweeted a photo of him in Centre Point, which is like a big kind of skyscraper in the middle of London, saying that he was stuck in the lift with some of his friends, and they'd pressed the buzzer, like the alarm bell, nothing happened. They'd phoned the number, which it said on the plate, nothing happened. So he decided to tweet a photo of himself, well, a selfie of himself and his friends, put it on Twitter and see if anyone on Twitter could help get them out the lift, which was funny. So I looked at this photo and I thought, hang on, Stephen Fry. And so he's also known as kind of like caring about history and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just thought he must be interested in Bletchley Park. So I just Googled Stephen Fry, Bletchley Park. And there were quotes from him saying, you know, if Bletchley Park were to close, it would be like Nelson's column falling down, stuff like that. So I knew that he definitely cared about Bletchley Park. So I thought, well, maybe I should tweet Stephen Fry. So I looked, and actually he was following me, so I don't know how that happened, because who was I? But luckily he was following me, and so I could send him direct messages. I could send him private messages on Twitter. So I sent him about 3 private messages saying, if you get involved with the campaign, I'm sure it'll make a massive difference, you know, like please, 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 please. I can't remember exactly what I wrote. And that was kind of late at night after a couple of beers, actually. So it was a bit of Dutch courage there, probably. And so I went to bed that night thinking, well, I gave it a go. Hopefully, I don't know if anything will happen. But I was kind of thinking, of course, he's not going to reply. He's famous and I'm nobody, so why would he? But then the next morning, I got a notification saying, Stephen Fry has tweeted, blah, 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 you know. So I was like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. So I looked at Twitter, and he tweeted a link to my blog, savingbletchleypark.org blog. And that day was just incredible, because Twitter just went crazy. He had, I think it was like 200,000 followers then, which was a lot in those days, not now. And so he tweeted it out, and I looked at the hits on my blog, and so normally then I would get about 50 hits a day, which to me was amazing. 50 people were reading my blog, that was great. But one tweet from Stephen Fry meant that I got 8,000 hits that day. And that really showed me that if you find the right people to get on board with your campaign, because remember, I didn't know what I was doing. If you find the right people to get on board with your campaign, you can kind of reach whole new audiences, many, many people really quickly, if you just find the right kind of key influential people in your sphere, I suppose.